Hey teletizens, me again, Aji Gautama Putrada. I am your lecturer for our course Para and Distributed Systems. This is our fourth meeting about inter-process communication. This is our last video, our seventh video. In this last video, we are discussing about synchronous and asynchronous communication. So we have discussed about the receiver in the last video. The receiver is blocking. It means that it blocks until data is sent. Now, what about the sender? Does it block or does it not block? If it blocks, it is called synchronous communication. Synchronous communication is tight timing or ordered. Usually, we say in our daily life that synchronous is moving together. And synchronous swimming, all of them are moving together. And the opposite of synchronous is asynchronous, which is free timing. So there's no timing, and it is usually unordered. So our order is not important in asynchronous, and usually the opposite of moving together is moving independently. So let's discuss about synchronous communication first. So this is our timeline like before. In receiver, we know that the receiver, perhaps let's assume the socket is also already created, it receives. And when it receives, it is blocked. And in the sender, it sends. But what happens after it sends? It is also blocked. When the receiver is done receiving, it gives a response. So here, when this one is also blocked here, it continues after it is blocked. By doing this, it is assured that the sequence, like we said, has order. So every sending and every receiving is in a good order. Now in asynchronous, which is non-blocking, the receiver is the same. So, for example, it has also already created a socket, and here it is blocked. But the sender is not blocked. So here it sends and it's not blocked. It just continues to the next process. What happens now? What happens now is that something needs to be prepared. Why? Because when the receiver answers the message here, it doesn't have a place to send because the sender is already busy doing the next process. So what does the sender do? The sender, when it sends a message, it creates a new thread. called callback. The callback here then blocks. So it's not actually fully non-blocking, it's partially non-blocking because here it waits for message in the new thread. This is blocked until the reply from the receiver is sent to the sender. And how does it come back to the mainstream? Here we have a handler. So this is called receiving handler. When it is done managing with the received message from the receiver, it then comes back to the main process. So everything is good, and everyone has a peaceful ending. And that's the end of our last video, or our 7th video. We have successfully discussed about synchronous and asynchronous communication, and in our meeting generally we have successfully discussed about inter-process communication, which is the basic communication between two different applications in distributed system. In our next meeting we will discuss about the next paradigm, which is remote invocation. Thank you for your attention. Let's meet in the next meeting.